Continuing with the topic modernization. So, as it was told in the previous part, that modernization is adoption of new technology, innovative technology. So, those points have been reiterated here that through application of science and innovative technology, output level has to be increased in order to attain higher rates of growth. Now, at the time of independence, India was much deficient in technical know-how, practically absent. Technology was not there since industrialization itself was not there. So it was required for the economic planners to boost or adopt newer methods of technical technology in order to enhance production levels. So modernization includes all these efficient methods of production through sophisticated machinery, which is also we can say modern machines, and hence production of new and better goods and services. Modernization also includes the aspect of social change or change in the social outlook, which includes gender empowerment and equal rights to women. So, modernization is summarizing is about adoption of newer methods, keeping on adopting newer and better methods of production so that the economy transforms into a more advanced economy. But modernization is not just limited to efficient using of efficient methods of production, innovative technology. It is a much broader term. Modernization includes a variety of structural and institutional changes. So structural changes, when India was initially an agricultural economy, but over the years India has transformed into a fast developing industrial economy. So this transformation itself, this structural shift is also called modernization. So modernization is a very broad term. It includes both structural changes or shifts as well as institutional changes. It includes diversification of production activities with along with advancement of technology. So all the goal of modernization therefore in the economic planning help to transform the face of colonial economy which the Britishers has had left us with into an advanced and growing economy. So before moving to the next topic, the next goal, here there is a vital point, the relationship between modernization and employment. There are two aspects in this point. The negative aspect first, because which is more prominent, as modernization is conflicting with employment generation. Yes, because modernization, when it takes place through adopting of newer methods, new technology, some people lose their jobs. It is a very simple to understand. When computerization of jobs or computerization of offices took place, some people who had not acquired computer knowledge lost their jobs. So either they had to acquire knowledge of computers in order to stay in the job. So this is very much natural, which happens in the course of upgradation of technology, upgradation of production methods. The other thing is that when highly capital intensive techniques are used through this new technology, it also reduces employment generation, because when more machines are being used and less labor is being used, employment generation does reduce. So this is what the scenario is in the economy, where it is seen that employment generation has reduced. It is not achieving the targets of employment generation. So, but then a positive aspect also can be put here regarding modernization, that in course of time, because modernization brings higher productivity by raising levels of incomes of the people, modernization does improve productivity on a large scale, and due to that the incomes of people increase. So in course of time people will have more money to spend, hence demands will rise and causing more production, and hence employment increases. So this is the point put here, but the negative aspect is more prominent. So there is an important question here too, which is that in the light of modernization critically evaluate if employment generation takes place or not. So we will come to that question later. Let's move on to the next topic, self-reliance. The next goal, the third common goal of planning, self-reliance. So what is self-reliance? Self-reliance means reducing dependence on imports of those goods which can be produced within the country itself. And it also means reducing foreign aid and foreign capital. So whatever those goods, not all imports cannot be reduced. So all those goods for which the country has domestic resources which can be produced within the economy should be produced within the economy by substituting those imports which are coming from outside. So now political independence, here I put this point, as India gained political independence, but a political independence from the Britishers was not just enough. A true economic independence would only come when India achieved self-reliance. So economic in political independence without economic independence is meaningless, as India was still importing huge amounts of food grains along with heavy machinery, machine tools, electric goods, transport equipments, etc. Now, why was this? Food grains, heavy amount of food grains were coming into the economy from US. And why? Because the agriculture sector was still backward and could not cater to the needs of the economy. So India was still dependent on food grain supplies from outside. Also industrialization, for industrialization, the core industries, heavy industries, which is iron, steel, and metals, were all lacking in the economy, so it had to initially import these items, these machinery, tools, electric goods, etc. But this was the point, that India was self-sufficient. India was having the resources to produce these goods, food grains, machine tools, machineries, electric goods, as it is said here that in the last, where I put this, I'm coming to this point. Why? Because it is related to this point here, that import substitution, that is a reduction of imports of those commodities which are of key importance to the economy. So these commodities which can be produced within the economy itself, as India had the resources to produce. India had an agricultural sector which was capable to produce enough food grains, although it was made backward by the Britishers because of, on account of only growing commercial crops. So India soon gained the position of self-sufficiency in food grains because of this objective that was introduced from the very first 5-year plan, but it was more emphasized from the third 5-year plan. And so let's see the other points here too, that when an economy is importing, when an economy is importing food supplies, in this point here, and foreign technology or foreign capital, it increases the foreign interference in the policies of our country. So this is true, because when the economy is dependent on other countries, the foreign country tries to interfere with the economic policies of the economy. And it so happened with US too. When US was importing food supplies to India, it was trying to interfere with the economic policies of the economy. So now, in order to promote economic growth and modernization, all the 5-year plans stressed on the use of own resources to reduce dependence on foreign countries. So very quickly, self-reliance was a very major objective. In order to accelerate economic growth and modernization, it should be accompanied with self-reliance, as well as economic independence was also of utmost importance for the country. Self-reliance can be defined here by stating that it is reducing dependence on imports of those commodities which can be produced within the country. And so this also reduces foreign interference of other countries in the policies of the economy. Now, self-reliance has two aspects. One is already discussed, that all the points here is focusing on import substitution, that is reduction of imports. and of those commodities which can be produced within the economy. And it is of key importance to the economy also, because being food grain sufficient, being sufficient in machine tools and heavy industries is crucial for the economy so that it can sustain its growth process. Export promotion also is important along with self-reliance, along with import lessening or reduction, because eh, with exports the country can earn more foreign exchange to pay for the import bill. So these terms may be little vague for you right now, so we will not elaborate on these, but it can be understood that exports are essential in order to earn money, earn foreign exchange in terms of other foreign currencies to pay for whatever is being imported from other economies which cannot be produced within the economy. So self-reliance points are made clear here.